Hey everyone, it's Paris, and I'm here to talk Xbox. So we're literal days away from E3, and Xbox obviously is going to have their big game showcase coming up on June 13th. But before that, they also had a virtual press briefing, and I was lucky enough to get invited to be able to watch this virtual press briefing, and it was hosted by the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer. And he had a variety of people on Team Xbox that he was able to sit down with and basically talk about the current state of Xbox and where they see themselves headed in the future. But before he got into that discussion, he also had a remote call with the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, and they kind of gave a brief overview of where Xbox is, where Xbox is going, and how Microsoft as a company is going to be able to integrate into that. So before I get into the actual topics of what they talked about, I kind of want to go over everyone that was able to speak during this so you can kind of get an idea of how this press briefing went down. So Phil Spencer was able to sit down with Sarah Bond, who is a VP of Game Creator Experience, Jason Zander, who is an executive VP for Azure, Liz Hamren, who is a VP for Gaming Experiences, Kareem Chowdhury, who is a VP for Cloud Gaming, Matt Booty, who is the head of Xbox Game Studios, Tim Stewart, who is the Chief Financial Officer for Xbox, Dave McCarthy, who is a VP for Product Services, Kathy Jo Wright, a Director for Gaming for Everyone, Melissa Boone, who is a Senior Manager for Xbox Research, and then Kim Coons, who heads up Trust and Safety over at Xbox. So some of the topics that they got into during their various discussions was Azure, was the cloud, how cloud is going to integrate into everything that they're doing at Xbox. Platforms and services, which obviously would be hardware, the various devices that you're going to be able to interact with the Xbox ecosystem. And of course, when we talk services, Xbox Game Pass, accessibility and inclusivity for everyone, making everything safe and inclusive for anyone that wants a game. Xbox made it very clear that gaming is for everyone, and some of the tools and things that they are doing to try and make that a reality. And then they obviously talked again about accessing all of these things across multiple platforms. So the discussion started off, like I said, with Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Jason Zander, and they talked about more of the cloud. Again, Jason, obviously being a VP over at Azure, that's his specialty, and just how cloud is integrating into literally everything that they're doing. It is powering a lot of the gaming experiences that we're going to have moving forward. Sarah made the great point that, they're trying to enable creators to be able to do new things in the space, and cloud is going to be a key component of that. She also talked about how she now heads up the Azure gaming business, and part of that is with the cloud, enabling crossplay, enabling cross progression. Again, you're going to be able to access these devices, multiple devices, be it on the console, be it on PC, again in the cloud, on mobile devices, things of that nature. When I talk again about providing the tools to creators to start creating new experiences, example that she brought up was Azure PlayFab is one of them, and Flight Sim, as an example, is a game that currently is taking advantage of Azure and using those assets. Like Jason talked about how they basically created a virtual clone of the world in Flight Sim, and you can go anywhere in the world, and all of that is being powered by Azure in the cloud. So it was a great discussion. They obviously lightly touch on Game Pass because, again, Sarah is the head of game experiences as well. But the meat of their conversation was about the cloud and how that is the future of everything that Xbox is attempting to do. As, like I've said before, their ultimate goal is to reach billions of gamers, right? And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that by leveraging the cloud to get the games to where the people are. And I'll talk about that a little more here as I proceed. And I'll just say right here, I'm not going to just go word for everything that they talked about. The virtual press briefing was about an hour or so, but I kind of want to hit on the points that I think is important to us gamers, because that's who's watching this right now. We're gamers. We want to know what Xbox is attempting to do in the future. So Now I kind of want to get into platforms and services. And, I've told the story many times. I went to a spring showcase that Microsoft had back in 2016 in San Francisco. And Phil Spencer had this great keynote, which was kind of the light bulb moment for me to realize, okay, I see what Xbox is trying to do now. I think I see the direction that they're going. And here we are in 2021. And this is where Liz and Kareem joined Phil, and they talked about platforms and services. Again, Kareem is heading up cloud gaming, which obviously we know is still in beta, but that is going to be a big initiative for them. And then Liz is basically just talking about the current hardware and just the platforms and how they're going to reach all these gamers moving forward. But like I said before, I felt like this conversation started back in 2016, and we're really right there on the cusp of seeing the fruits of that labor realized. So, Liz obviously talked about the Xbox Series X. She talked about the Series S and how this gives them a low cost with the S option of hardware to basically get people into the next generation of gaming. But then you also have what they're calling the world's most powerful console in the Series X. So people that want to take advantage of that can do that as well. But then when you start thinking about other platforms, and then this is where Kareem kind of comes in, is the cloud. That's how they're going to do this. And you're leveraging the cloud by using Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and getting the games onto mobile devices, getting them onto tablets, getting them onto low-end PCs. Whereas, yes, you have Xbox Play Anywhere. Windows gaming is going to be a huge component for them moving forward. But if you don't have a high-end gaming PC, how are you going to experience these games that they're coming out with? This is where the cloud is going to come in handy, because like right now, you go to xbox.com/play. I've been in the beta, like I was in Seattle last week, and I got to test out stuff while I was traveling, and it worked. I was playing Destiny 2, I played Gears 5, Spiritfarer, things like that. But the point is, that's how they're going to reach these billions of gamers, because, most people have a smart device, in their pocket. You're going to be able to play these games via touch controls or connect a controller via Bluetooth, things like that. They are going to leverage smart TVs. They're going to get that Xbox app onto TVs. So you don't even have to have a console in your home. You can literally fire up that Xbox app, connect the controller via Bluetooth, and you're gaming and you're playing. Another component that Kareem talked about is the fact that in the next few weeks, they're obviously going to get cloud gaming out of beta, and they're going to get it out to the masses. They obviously want to take this thing global. But the one thing that he talked about in the next few weeks is they're going to start integrating the Series X hardware into their cloud gaming strategy. And what does that mean for us? It's going to be faster load times. You potentially might be able to start enabling 1080p gaming, things like that. Again, leveraging the cloud and some of the APIs that they have. They're trying to crack that code on lowering latency so that you have more responsive controls when you're cloud gaming. So that, will it ever be one for one to what we do on console, on PC? Absolutely not. But getting it as close as possible, obviously having 5G when you're out and about on your mobile device, and obviously having high broadband in the home, is going to allow us to have cloud gaming become somewhat of a reality, and not be 100% reliable, but be a viable option to gaming, which I think is the whole point of that. And again, you're reaching more people by doing this. And again, when we talk about services, Xbox Game Pass, I've talked about this a lot. I get accused of being on the Microsoft payroll because, I champion Game Pass so much. And something Phil had talked about a lot during this press briefing is discoverability. This is what Game Pass can do. There was even a statistic that came out that, and I won't go through all of them, but the one that stood out to me is you're seeing 40% more engagement because of Game Pass. Whether you subscribe to Game Pass or your buddies are playing games and you want to join them, you go buy it yourself. And this is not just on Xbox. This is across the board on Steam and other places as well. It's creating more engagement with games. And that's the whole point. And they talked about how, some of their third-party partners are seeing the advantage of that as well. And again, me as not only as a dad, but as a fan of gaming, this is giving me access to hundreds of games. One thing that Kareem brought up on the cloud side is they're going to start integrating cloud gaming into the Xbox app on PC and integrated into the console as well. So you're going to start getting that instant access to a game, kind of a try it before you download it type of scenario. And again, these are more ways that you're going to be able to leverage being able to access games. Again, the whole point is they don't care if you have a console. They care that you're engaging into their ecosystem. I think the best way that I can put all of this is Xbox is no longer a console. It is truly just a platform at this point, because Xbox now, and even Phil talked about this, they're the only quote unquote gaming company right now that has day one games on console, PC, and the cloud. They're trying to reach everyone where they are. So if you want to play on your phone, you can do that. I don't even have my tablet here. You want to play on your tablet, you can do that. You want to stream through the cloud on a smart TV app, you can do that. That's the whole point of what they're trying to do with this. And it's pretty exciting. And again, when I talk about Game Pass, that's going to literally be the center of all of this, because they want to provide what they're calling a low-cost subscription service, give you access to hundreds of games, and then at the same time create more engagement, whether you want to be a Game Pass subscriber or not. Because remember, Game Pass is always going to be a choice. You can still buy games and interact with them the way we always have, but it is a nice option to have. And I'm a personal fan of it, so that's why I break out the pom-poms and talk about it all the time. So like I said, Liz and Kareem talked about that. Again, pretty excited the fact that we're going to get the Series X, blades, so to speak, on the back end of the infrastructure of cloud gaming. So we're going to have faster load times, things like that. The fact that they're going to continue to push cloud gaming out to more devices is great. Integrating it into the Xbox app on PC and into the console is going to be great as well. So pretty exciting to see a lot of that stuff. That's kind of the initiative of where they're taking it. And it goes right back to the top. All of this is being powered by Azure, so I mean, it's exciting stuff. I say all the time, some of the smartest people on the planet work at Microsoft. And if they're leveraging these really smart people to bring us these experiences across multiple devices, again, as a gamer, as a fan, I'm excited to see it. So like I said, we had that discussion with them. So then we moved on to, we had Dave, and this is where Dave, Kathy, Joe, Melissa, and Kim all came in. And again, they were talking about accessibility, and they're talking about inclusion for everyone. And that's the whole point. They want to make gaming at Xbox. Their mantra is gaming is for everyone. They want to make it a safe place for everyone. We've obviously seen, already the controller from Logitech, which, to help disabled people be able to interact with games. They're building tools on the back end so that it's more safe to allow my kids to play, the kind of the family settings and everything. Because I'm literally utilizing them right now with two of my kids to make sure their gaming experience is a good one, so they don't have to worry about people harassing them online. But the whole point with them is they're taking in the data, they're listening to the community, and they're understanding what we want to see from a great online gaming experience, and they're trying to make it a reality. Is it perfect today? Absolutely not. It's something I've been very vocal about, and it's something they still need to work on. But it's good to see all the way at the top, from Phil Spencer all the way down. They believe in this initiative, and they want to make gaming for everyone. And to me, that's the whole point here. Whether you play on easy mode, whether you want to play on the hardest mode, whether you have to play with a special controller, it doesn't matter. You want your kids to be able to play with their friends and not be harassed by people online. And we need those tools, and we need these initiatives to be in place. And it's really good to see that Xbox, is trying to lead the way on that. And hopefully, like I said, we will see more progress on this as we move through the future. So then finally, we got to Matt Booty and we got to Tim Stewart. And, they're talking about Xbox as a whole, as far as Xbox games and just everything that us as gamers, at the end of the day, you want games, right? What has been one of the biggest, what has been the mantra, let's say, about Xbox the past 5 or 6 years? They don't have games. They've made acquisitions. We obviously know Bethesda was the big one. They're up to 23 studios now. And Matt Booty just kind of talked about some of the trials and tribulations of game development and ultimately what their goal is. He said his goal is they want to be able to ship one game a quarter. They want to get to that point. Are we there now? Absolutely not. COVID-19 restrictions, doesn't help that. But that's the ultimate goal. And he did warn that not every project they start will launch, because that's just a part of game development. Things happen, right? We've seen that in the past, but that's what they're trying to leverage with the 23 studios that they have, the strategic partnerships that they've made across the industry to try and deliver these exclusive titles and these unique experiences across all genres, right? And continue to grow the business. This is where Tim came in, just talking about they're leveraging Game Pass. They're leveraging the fact that they're getting games onto all these multiple devices, because consoles reach about 200 million to 250 million people a year, right? But there's literally billions of people out there that have a mobile device and potentially could be playing games. They're trying to reach those people. And I've talked about this in the past as well. You can't just look at the short term. Clearly, Microsoft is looking long term. So they're trying to build the platform, put the tools and the services in place so they can reach everyone around the world that has a device, that has any type of internet connectivity, so that they can play games. And that's the whole point. One thing I always say about gaming is there's something for everyone. No matter what you like, there's definitely something for everyone. My wife, who is not a gamer, there are games that she likes to play. You know what I mean? So whether you're the most hardcore gamer or you're most casual gamer, there's definitely something there for you. So what Microsoft is trying to do. And another thing I forgot, because Liz talked about this, going back to kind of the hardware stuff, is, they're partner up with, other companies, telecommunication companies around the globe, to even bring like the Xbox All Access stuff, so that you don't have to pay all the money up front to get a console. You can pay monthly and still basically be able to get in. Or like I said before, you don't even have to buy a console. If you have an iPad, as an example, and you want to subscribe to Game Pass, that's your entry into gaming. If you have a laptop that isn't powerful enough to actually play Halo 5 or whatever, right? But it has internet access, it has Bluetooth capability, or even USB. You can plug in your controller. You can download the Xbox app. You're playing games over the cloud. That's where they're trying to get. That's what they're trying to do. It's a long-term effort. We're not 100% there today. I can see where they're going, but there's still work to do. And that was kind of the point of this virtual press conference, to let people know, to let us, the media, know, so we can tell you that they understand what we want from Xbox. And here's what they're trying to deliver to answer, those needs or whatever it is that you want to say as a gamer, right? Because when we want great games, we want great experiences. We want to be able to play with our friends across multiple devices. That's the future of gaming. That's why when Sarah and Jason were at the top and just talking about the cloud, yes, cross-play, cross-progression, these are the things that I want to see. Because it shouldn't matter if I'm on an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Nintendo, a laptop, an iPad, mobile phone, doesn't matter. We should all be able to play games together and experience them together, communicate together, the whole thing. And this is what Microsoft is trying to enable, or Xbox more specifically is trying to enable, along with all the services that they're creating and leveraging Azure, for the cloud efforts as well. So I don't want to ramble on too much about this, other than to say it was a great talk. It was a great talk by Phil Spencer. Like I said, this lasted about an hour. It was good to see some of the senior leadership over there at Xbox kind of talk about the things that they're working on, the initiatives that they're trying to push through. I didn't even talk about backwards compatibility and the things that they've been doing with that, and obviously FPS boost, and just all these various things to get all these great games and experiences to us where we want to play them. I think ultimately that's the message that we should be taking out of this. So, like I said, this is right before E3. They even said it in the briefing. They'll have a bunch of announcements and things that we will see on Sunday. I'm excited to see them. I'm sure you are too. But it was a good talk. Like I said, went about an hour. Phil Spencer hosted the whole thing, and it was great to hear from the senior leadership over there at Xbox. So to sum this up, like I said, we see the future of Xbox. It's no longer just about a console. Xbox is a platform. Xbox is a service now. And that's the future of gaming, in my personal opinion. Play games where you want to play them and they're trying to deliver the tools and services that will power that experience. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope I didn't ramble too much. I kind of wanted to just directly speak on what I took away from it instead of just reading from a spreadsheet of all the numbers and everything that they put out. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate you guys checking out this video. I'm Paris. I'll see you guys real soon.